Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for our live reaction and player ratings live stream of Chelsea 3, Southampton 1. Maybe I am happier than I should be, but it was a game where it felt like everything was against us, and we won anyway. And don't you love those? Don't you love those? Crazy last few minutes of the game, red card for Southampton, Chelsea scored, and we played ping pong with the bloody goalposts, and Chilwell scores, making up for giving away the penalty earlier. I'm very happy. I am very, very happy. I still cannot believe Ross Barkley has played a pass like that. That's outrageous. But yeah, I'm very, very happy. The most, I don't know, bad thing about today was I still don't understand how Romelu Lukaku hasn't scored a goal today. But any which way, there's a lot of great things to discuss today. Hopefully for not quite as long as last time. I'm trying to keep this well under 2 hours today. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here, please be sure to subscribe. That'd be massively appreciated. Smash that like button for me because it really helps me out with the algorithm. Doesn't cost you any money, barely cost you any time. So please just do that. I am joined by my three faceless friends in order of Con CFC, Mr. CFCPys, and of course Clutch. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate all of you as always, of course. And let me just, this just happens to be the order on screen. I didn't order it myself. So let me go with you first, Clutch. First of all, thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining us, I suppose. And how was that? It's a bit mental, that, wasn't it?
It was pretty fun. I actually really loved that game. VAR screwed us in the first half, but then VAR gave us it back with that red card. Because if no VAR, we don't get the red card. We just get that straight yellow. But saved us in the end. Ended up going against 10 men, and that last 15 minutes was probably the best football we've had all year.
It's true. That is very, very true. Yeah. I'm over the moon, honestly. I'm over the moon. Like, you say the last 10 minutes, like even part of the first half, I'm like, finally, we're playing some proper football. I haven't seen that in weeks. Some proper football. It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Pice, thank you for joining us. Of course. How was that? Are you as pleased as I am, or am I a bit, I don't know, over the top here?
No, I'm very pleased in the end. I was slightly worried. I mean, when Chilwell gave the away penalty, I just thought, we're going to pay for this a little bit, not scoring more than one goal. But I thought we played pretty decent in the second half. I just think until Mount came on, I thought we lacked quite a lot of urgency. Ruben was playing decent, but I thought he really changed the game, especially with the runs down the right side. Even like when we conceded the penalty, I just thought some of our passing was really slow. I wasn't quite sure what was happening, why we wasn't as urgent as we should have been. But to get the win in the end was very good. And yeah, Barkley with the ball to Azpilicueta, it was a really nice goal actually. Werner across the front post, and good finish. A lot like we saw at Leipzig when he did that. He used to run across the front post quite a lot. Was clinical like that. And to be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie, I did kind of like not celebrate because I thought it might be offside again. Like I just thought there's gonna be some in here, isn't it? It's Werner. They're gonna disallow it. He's had 16 disallowed goals since he's joined Chelsea, which is outrageous. So I just feel like, like even when he scored the first one, it wasn't his fault, but something still happened. So I was like kind of on edge and still happy at the same time. But yeah, good performance overall.
I agree. And Con, of course, also joining us. Again, appreciate you for joining, of course. And what did you make of that? Like, we'll get to the lineup obviously in a minute because that was already the first time I was happy and excited today, even though there was already confusion because no one had any idea what system we'd play when the lineup came out. But I was very pleased with that. I was just, we said it off air a second ago, Con. 2021, and we see Ross Barkley doing things like this. Like all of us, I think, have this instinctive reaction when we see Ross Barkley warming up. That we're all a bit like, really? Barkley? And then he comes on and plays the ball like that. It's outrageous.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm gonna be honest. When I saw Ross Barkley come on, my language, I was speaking a bit of French for a few sentences. But I'm just so happy, Lawrence. Like you, it just felt like everything was against us today. We got a perfectly fine goal ruled out for. It's so dumb because do you remember when Southampton played United and their goal stood even though Bruno got took out, right? That tackle on Bruno was worse than that one, but the goal stood. So VAR and consistency just don't go together for some reason. And even with they had 11 men, I still think we win that because they went extremely deep when they went down to 10, and that's where we struggled the most. We've seen that this season. So I think we win that game regardless.
On the pitch.
We bring on Ross Barkley, bro, and he does his thing, I'm just happy. Like you see Loftus-Cheek perform the way he does. Like it's giving old vibes. I know you're a big fan of that. Seeing Chalobah score again at the bridge, it's beautiful, man. And we needed this after the 2 L's we took. We're back on winning ways, and that's what I'm happy about.
Exactly that, and also international break coming up now, so really wouldn't have wanted to go into that with even just points dropped of a draw, right? Let alone a loss, right? But getting a win like this, making it in the end even the 3-1, so it doesn't look quite as tight, if you want to call it that. It's just good, and yeah, exactly like you say. I probably think we probably would have won it regardless. I mean, obviously it helped us for them to get the red card, but because you just mentioned it, let's talk about the VAR stuff straight away so we can get that out the way and then focus more on the positives of the players and stuff. Really, I said it to Pies. I was texting Pies during the game, and for me, to be honest, I can see it's a foul. Like, Aspi doesn't get anything off the ball, but the questionable thing for me is not whether it's a foul or not. It's how long before it was we scored. Like, it was like by the time we scored, it was like 3 kind of attempts later. So like, when United scored against Liverpool like 2 years ago, when VAR was first, was it Liverpool scored against United? And it was like, there was such a clear foul in the build-up, but they said, no, it was too long before the goal to call it, to like rule it out for that reason. I'm like, how? I don't understand. And honestly, what is the VAR doing today? Like, also Atkinson, but also Mike Dean VAR, like, but the red card as well. Like, how does Mike Dean not have the authority on the ear to like say that's like, it can't be any clearer of a red card? I don't understand, right? And it's just mind-boggling to me. Honestly, like, English referees are not intelligent enough to use VAR. Like, they just don't have the mental capacity to understand how this tool works. It feels like Neanderthals when they invented fire. That's what English referees feel like with VAR. It's like ridiculous. Or did I say invented fire? Like, not explored. What's the word?
I'm dying.
What's the word? Not explored. They realized fire existed. Like, you can make it yourself. That's what I mean.
Neanderthals when they invented fire. That's a great comparison. I love that. I had to unmute just to let you know I love that one.
Love that. I'm just getting up the lineup so we can talk about the player ratings. But you jumped in there, Con, already. I know you touched on it already, but I'm just so baffled by it. Like, what are these lot doing?
Bro, it's VAR in this country. It stinks. It's as simple as that. It's like you said, the technology is good. It's the people behind it, And if you watch Serie A, I've been watching a bit of that lately, and it's so efficient there. It's so quick. The decisions are more or less right every time, and it's good in Serie A. I don't know about La Liga. I know,
the referees there go to the screen pretty much straight away every time.
Yeah, and it's just done so quickly and so efficiently. And here we just got, like you said, the Neanderthals when they find fire. It's just the stupid. And with the Aspi one, it's so far back. And like I said, if the Bruno one wasn't a foul, then neither's that one. It was less than that. It was not much contact. And there was this new rule about we're not going to give soft free kicks anymore. Blah blah blah. Okay then, because that's as soft as it gets. So I felt bad for Timo then. The red cards were obvious red card. You see the studs up. The referee's, how close is he to there? It gives a yellow card, so great refereeing there. And then the VAR, she just said, yeah, it's a red card, studs are up, but he has to go over there for, what reason? To make it look like he knows what he's doing. I don't know, but VAR in this country sucks. And we're just going to have to get used to it, man, because until we change officials and actually change something, like, it's going to be the same for years.
They discovered the fire.
Discovered.
Let's go. That's the word I was looking for. Love that. But yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Clutch, anything you want to add on how ridiculous that goal decision was? Like, it was a good goal. Like, it was a really nice goal. And like, don't ruin it. I don't understand when Timo Werner learned to head the ball, because I mean, I know he scored in the end, obviously with his foot, but obviously outside of that, that would have been 2 goals with his head, none with his foot at that point. Don't know when that happened, but I was just fuming. And poor guy, like, sure, most of his VAR ruled out goals were his own mistake for being offside all the time. But ones like today, it's just like, give the guy a break, man.
Yeah, I texted you midway through the game and was like, I thought Timo Werner was one of the better players that we had in the first half. And then that happened, and I was like, oh, we're just going to have one of these games for him. Now that's going to ruin his confidence. He's going to start missing everything. And luckily, he ended up getting his goal in the end. But like you guys said, VAR is it's ruining things because they don't know how to use it. It's a good technology, but if you don't know how to use it, what's the point of it?
100%. No, I couldn't agree more. Pies, anything you want to add to that? Obviously, we were just speaking about it for a minute on WhatsApp earlier. So anything you want to add, or nothing really more?
Yeah, nothing really more, to be fair. You guys kind of said it all.
Fair dues. Let's get the player ratings up on stream, just because when there's 4 people, we need to like get on with these because otherwise we're going to be here for 2.5 hours again, like last time. So let's do this. But we're going to do what I realized I should have done last time already. We're going to start from the front. We're going to do something different. Isn't that exciting, ladies and gentlemen? If you find it as exciting as I do, subscribe and smash the like button. And if you want to obviously support the channel or get your thoughts, your opinions, whatever else involved, use the super chat function. Always massively appreciated. Really helps me out. But yeah, let's start up top with probably one of the lower ratings of today because, I mean, maybe Pies will tell me I'm wrong again. I don't know. But aside from obviously that offside goal he scored in the first half after the brilliant Rudiger run, Lukaku wasn't really that involved today. But unlike the last 2 games when he wasn't that involved, we were still good anyway. And that's what I'm glad about. Like, we found a way. Your striker can't be great every game. That's normal. If the opposition defend well, especially when they put Romeo back into a back 3 for the second half, that made it a lot more difficult for Lukaku because Romeo played well, defended well. Let's not kid ourselves. Your striker can't always be great. But you need to, as a team, find a way to play well and win anyway. And that's what we did today. So I'm happy today, even if Lukaku wasn't super standout, I would say at least. But let me go with you first, Pies. Maybe you disagree with me, but what did you make of Romelu today?
Yeah, as you said, not great, but I still think he had some moments. One of the ones that I thought was really, really good was the back heel to Timo Werner, which I think we was drawing 1-1.
True.
And that was an amazing save, but I thought Werner could have been in the other corner looking at the replay. But yeah, anyway, I thought not standout. He hit the post, he had the offside goal, which was a really good finish. But yeah, kind of not really an off game because he was still involved, and not really average either. I think he was much better than average, but not just, I don't know, not great, as you said. I still think he played pretty well. Just not, obviously, quite unlucky to not get a goal, I think. Off the post was
He should have scored that last one, though. As much as it's unlucky, he should score.
No, but the side it came off the post was quite unlucky, if you watch it back. But yeah, I think he should have had a goal, but I think on another day he probably gets, 1 or 2, so... it's good that we can win when he's not scoring, but yeah, I did really like that play with the back heel assist. I wish we scored that. So I think I'm going to give him 7.5. I think would be a fair rating.
Ooh, okay. I wouldn't go quite as high, but not far off. So, but before I get on my rating, let me get the other 2 guys first. Let me go with you first, Con. What did you make of Lukaku today? I kind of forgot about the back heel by Lukaku that Pies mentioned there. Very true. Very good moment. Love that. But yeah, outside of that, he hit the post and scored an offside goal. Outside of that, how much did he do in my books? But Con, how did you see it?
I think you're both right in what you're saying, to be fair. He didn't really look involved, but this is the beauty of Timo Werner. This is why all of us wanted to see these 2 playing together, because Lukaku really doesn't really have to do much when Werner's playing. Werner's going to be the guy who makes them runs, who's always moving. He's going to be doing the dirty work up front. And today we just saw it, and Werner scored, and that's what Werner needs to do when Lukaku has games like this. Werner needs to be the one scoring, and hopefully, touch wood, I'm touching every piece of wood in my house right now, that he can start scoring, because that would be a great winning formula for us, and it will get us competing if Timo and Lukaku were both scoring, and that's what I'm hoping for. But on just Lukaku today, I thought he was all right. I think a 6.5 would be fair.
Yeah, I was more leaning towards a 6.5. Maybe had a push a 7 just to be nice to Pies, but I think 7.5 is pushing it a little bit from my point of view. But let's ask Clutch. How did you see Lukaku's performance today, mate?
I felt like he just wasn't involved. We're having that same problem where the other people around him really aren't getting involved, but now Timo Werner is making runs, and they're finding those runs in behind so that he can exploit that. The one time we did try to use Lukaku the right way was that back heel, and we almost got a goal out of it. I would probably give him a 6.5. Probably the highest I would go on him, but he didn't do much, but he didn't really need to do much. So
I'm why I'm slightly hesitant to give Lukaku a 7 or higher. It's because of a few other players that I feel like, even though they were overall not that great, they were super influential in the end. So they have to end up with a higher rating than Lukaku, but they shouldn't have an 8 or 8.5. So that's why I'm if we give Lukaku too high, we have to give a few others higher than they probably deserve, which is why I'm a little bit hesitant on giving him that. But I'll be nice to Pies, and I'll give Lukaku the 7 as a mix of us, just be nice to Pies. Why not? Give him the 7, but maybe in the end we'll end up turning that down to a 6.5. We'll have to wait and see. Quickly, I will go back to Denno's super chat in just half a second. But of course, Fantasy PGA Tour is a member of the channel. And he said, I think just the fact that Big Ron plays and doesn't do much, he still has so much of a presence. It allows Hudson-Odoi and Werner, and obviously whoever else plays around him, more space to shine, which is definitely true, which is definitely a fair point that people do need to consider as well. On that note, because Denno here mentioned Chilwell needs to do better defensively. That tackle looks like an Alonso type of tackle. Very true. With that said, why not just jump straight to Chilwell's rating? Because actually, before we do the rating for Chilwell, just because why not jump about a little bit today? I want to get you guys' thoughts on the lineup because I kind of forgot to mention it. Obviously, I put it up on screen, and in the end, we realized it was a 3-4-2-1 with Hudson-Odoi left wing, Werner right wing. But obviously, when it came out, we were initially thinking, okay, Werner would be on the left, Callum would be on the right. Then we realized, okay, maybe it's just the 3-5-2, like we had kind of in the second half against Juve. But Chalobah was the DM. You have Azpi at right centre back and Hudson-Odoi at left centre back, right wing back. Sorry, but in the end it was this. And while I was a little bit hesitant, was any of you here for the preview yesterday? No, I don't think so. No, you weren't. But we were talking about it yesterday, and we were like, I was slightly concerned that a Kovacic-Ruben partnership in midfield, if it's a midfield 2, would be slightly risky. I'm not sure if they would have the discipline for at least one of them to stay, to not leave too many gaps and spaces. But they did a great job, combined, both of them. So, no complaints really. But any reaction to the lineup? Let me go with you first, Con, this time.
I loved it, to be honest. I thought Cho coming in, Loftus coming in, it shows on merit, They came on against Juventus, both looked good. And Loftus-Cheek, obviously, the game before that looked good too, against City. So it's good that Tuchel's playing on merit. We saw Ching for Chilwell come back. So that was decent. Chalobah, I always like it when Chalobah plays. So, no, yeah, I was a big fan. And when I saw the front three, I was like, oh, I like this. It's got pace, So, yeah, no, it's a good lineup.
I agree. Like I said, I wasn't sure really what it would be when it initially came out, but once I saw it, I was like, I'm happy with this. Would you go along with that, Pies?
Yeah, I was actually one of the most excited to watch a game this season with this lineup. Really, I loved it. I loved the back three. I was happy to see Chalobah in, Chilwell as well. Everyone knows I want him to start over Alonso. Kovacic, ROC, Loftus-Cheek. They played really well, as you said. I think Loftus-Cheek really does have more discipline. I think I'm not sure if that's. I think that's tactically been drilled into him that he can drop deep.
Maybe we need to give a shout out to Scott Parker.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, seriously. Usually you'd think playing those two in a pivot would be just too attacking. There's no real defensive-minded player in there. But yeah, it worked really well. They seem to have good link up. And then the front three was. Yeah, man. Hudson-Odoi on the left. I'm still so annoyed Werner's first goal got disallowed, to be honest. But we move because that was a Hudson-Odoi assist. And yeah, I thought he played pretty decent. And the only one I was quietly not really confident about was Werner on the right. I've not really seen him there too much, but yeah, he was pretty involved in the end and got the second goal. So yeah, vital in the win, obviously.
100%. Obviously, by the time he got the goal, he wasn't playing on the right anymore because then Mount was more on the right. But definitely, for 100%. I was pleased with it. Clutch, anything you want to add to the lineup, I suppose?
I think the commentators here in the U.S. got it pretty spot on. Tuchel's been saying that we've been lacking energy and we look tired for the last 2 games. And then we come in, we pretty much changed 5, 6 players out there. And it looked like we got a lot more energy. That first half, everybody was running all over the pitch. So I think that was really intelligent of Tuchel because he didn't change from City to Juve very much, but then we got this big change to Southampton and it showed. And he gave players that needed that opportunity. Ruben, who has been on fire lately. I just think everything he did, at the end I'll give my rating for Tuchel, but I think he did really well today.
No, I agree. For me, it was just this is why I was even extra annoyed for Juve because this is not quite as extreme in terms of this many changes, but this is kind of what I was hoping for against Juve because I was really unhappy with what we did against City. So I thought, okay, not only are we going to see a reaction from the players, but also a reaction from the manager, and we didn't really. And we saw it today at least, better late than never, I suppose. But that's why I was extra annoyed on Wednesday, but extra happy today because I was because he didn't do it on Wednesday. I didn't think he would do it today either, but then he did. So I was very pleased about that. But because of then a super chat, let's get to Chilwell's rating, and I'll just get it straight out of the way. Yes, the tackle and giving a penalty away on Tino Livramento was disappointing. It's also disappointing to see Tino there because, with Reece injured, we always have to have Azpi. As much as Azpi's assist was great, I would rather just have Azpi as my right centre-back option because that's where he's still the best. And then if we still had Tino, I mean, what a right wing-back position we'd have. Do you know what I mean? But to me, that Chilwell tackle was a really bad mistake and an otherwise very good performance. Like, someone said it in the chat a minute ago, it's just, down to limited minutes. That's what happens. It was a bad mistake. It was well done by Tino Livramento. Clear pen. He knew straight away. Everyone knew straight away. But he got his goal, nearly scored earlier in the game already with another great save by the goalie, like McCarthy. Honestly, 2 wonder saves today from Werner in the second half and from Chile in the first half with his foot, because Chile would have put that near post. So I think overall, Chile, very good. Obviously, didn't get the assist, actually, because Ruben got the flick on, but we made it 1-0 from his corner too. And he had a number of really good corners today. So I think overall, even though the mistake, obviously, let's say for the mistake, you'd either take 0.5 or a full point off him, I would still give Chile at least a 7. At least a 7. I was honestly, maybe it's a little bit like of extra wanting to be giving him a high rating because obviously he's finally coming back. And, I just felt bad for him for like the whole summer and not getting minutes now. But like, it's mind-boggling how much better than Alonso he is. I tweeted this during the game. It's crazy how much better he is. And the fact that he isn't always guaranteed to play ahead of him. Like, I don't know what both of them must do in training for Alonso to ever even be considered. But it's crazy how much better he is. Like, we were so much better on the left-hand side today. It's crazy. So I was pleased with him. Obviously, it would have been a very different situation had that game finished 1-1, and it was because of the penalty he gave away. But it didn't finish 1-1, and he was part of the reason for that because he made it 3-1. So I'm very pleased. Let me go the kind of backwards, I suppose. So let me go with you first this time, Clutch. What did you make of Ben Chilwell today?
I thought he was pretty good. I mean, the corners he was taking were really good. Obviously, that mistake was really massive, and to be fair, if anybody in the team is going to give up a penalty, it's usually Chilwell. I think he did it like 3 times last year or something like that.
Did he?
Yeah, he had a couple last year. I know that. But even so, I'd rather give up a penalty than just have somebody who doesn't ever play defense well enough to even make sure there was like a defender there. So, I mean, I prefer Chilwell. I would give Chilwell an 8 today because that goal at the end was actually insane. How
Even
well
with
he
the
hit
pen,
that.
mate?
Yes, even with the pen. I think he was pretty good.
I agree. I wouldn't be upset. Obviously, we've seen a lot in the chat, people saying it's an 8 without the penalty. I would give him a 9 if he didn't give away the penalty, 7.5, 7.5, 7.75. Yeah, I'd probably be somewhere along those lines between 7.5 and 8, even with the penalty for me. But, Pice, what about yourself? What did you make of Chile today?
Apart from the penalty, man, I thought he was pretty good, to be fair. I thought he was decent going forward. I thought he worked hard defensively. Yeah, just to people who say, oh, Chilwell's not very good going forward and blah, blah, blah. Alonso's like so much better. Like, Chilwell gets forward so much as well. And as you saw from the third goal, like, that was a hit. Like, that was what Alonso does as well. So they can both sort of do that. Like, it's just, people seem to make it out as there's like this huge difference between the two going forward. There's really not. Like, there really isn't.
I mean, it is a little bit because Alonso just forgets about defending and just stays an attacker. So sure, every now and again he will get you a goal that Chilwell won't. But that's because that's also why we concede an extra goal with Alonso than we don't with Chilwell. I know he gave a penalty away.
Oh my God.
Alonso just ignores that he has to defend too and just stays there. So that's not good for anyone.
That's true. That is true. But yeah, I think 7.5 I think is a fair rate. Maybe a 7 if you want to knock one off for the penalty, but I thought he was pretty solid overall. I was happy with him.
Fair. And Con, what about you? It's weird really because he was great. I think we all agree on that. But it's kind of difficult how much you take away for the pen, especially because we won anyway.
For me, I think it's a 7 today. I do feel like he weren't as good as all you guys were making out. I think he was good, but I think you guys are a bit starving from watching Marcos Alonso too much because in attacks he did kind of ruin a few with bad touches and all that, which you expect. There's a bit of rust there. Expect that. His set pieces today were fantastic, by the way. That was a good point, Clutch. They were on point, really good, and that's why I'd give it a 7, despite the penalties he scored and good set pieces. And I think the more minutes he gets, the rust will just fare off, and he's going to be a real threat for us. He got what 10 GNA last season for us, I think, somewhere around that mark. So,
even though most of those are Frank early, but still.
Yeah, so I think he could replicate that, because he finds himself in dangerous areas. So,
especially if he takes corners now as well.
Yeah, and beautiful corners. I didn't think he had one bad one today. So big up to Chilwell. So 7.
100%. I suppose in the combination of us three, probably us four, sorry, can't count. We probably end up with a 7.5, which is what most of the people in the chat said anyway. So can't have a go at us, unlucky lads. Let's go back to the forwards. And let's get back to, even though obviously we got the 3-1 after, essentially the winner was scored by Timo Werner today. And Timo was very interesting. I was talking to Clutch in the first half, and I'm like, well, his runs are great. He's looking a bit slow at the moment, but his runs are great. He knows when to run. He knows where to go. All good. The problem is, as soon as he touched the ball, it was a bit more of a struggle. Compare it to what when Kovacic or Ruben or even Callum touched the ball. It's like it just feels like a different level of footballer entirely. But he scored, well, essentially 2 goals, should have been 2, scored the winner in the end. So you can't really complain. And he did what we want Werner to do. Like, I think by now we've accepted Timo Werner is not going to do what we see Mason do or what we see Callum do or Pulisic when he's fit, in terms of like the dribbling past people and being like, I don't know, coming up with a moment of magic. Timo's not going to do that. But Timo's going to work his socks off until he falls over. He's going to keep trying as much as, he should have scored the one that McCarthy saved. But also, it's not like one of his super bad misses because it's a wonder save. We also have to give credit to the goalie. It's a wonder save. As much as he should score it, of course, it's not one of his super bad misses. And, fair play to him. People know I'm not a big fan of him. And even on a day like today, I'm like, well, when he touches the ball, he looks like he's a League One player who we've given a 1-game trial. But he understands the movement so well, better than most players I've seen, on when to go, when to stay. He's really good at that. And to end up in the correct position twice, while Lukaku, did once, I suppose, and then hit the post. Fair play, Timo. Fair play, Timo. And I don't really know what to rate him, so I'll let you guys go first, and then we'll go from there. But Pice, what did you make of Timo today?
Kind of like you said, to be fair, like every time he touched the ball, it was off. He gave a few passes away, but to be fair, man, how many times have we come on stream after a game and we've been like, overall performance from Timo's like not that good, but he's got a goal or he helped in a goal. Like we just seem to play better with him in the side. We just do. His movement's good. Yeah, I thought he was pretty good overall in terms of like what he offered for the team, but just not individually kind of thing. That's kind of what I always sort of say with Werner. Like he's really good for the team, but individually, like when he gets on the ball or like he has a strike, like the 1-on-1, I thought he should have scored. Like those sort of moments, like I'm just like, if he can be really good individually as well, like he'd be a hell of a player. But yeah, every time he seems to play, wherever he seems to play, on the left, on the right, 2 strikers, against Man City, but a lot of occasions he has helped the team in winning in some way. So that's why I do see people all the time tweet or say, he's one of our most important attackers because of his movement, because of his energy, because of his pressing, his runs, like all these things add up and usually end in a good result for us.
No, I agree. So what rating would you give him in the end then?
So Lukaku was a 7. I'll give Werner a 7.5 for the goal. Maybe an 8, but I'm not sure if overall he deserves an 8. I'm not sure. I think maybe he does, I'll see what the others say. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I see what you mean. For me, I'd still rather Lukaku be a 6.5 and then Timo at a 7.5 or an 8. We're good for. But let's see what the other boys say, like you just said. Let me go with you first, Clutch. Obviously, like you mentioned earlier, we did speak about him. You said he was great in the first half, but what did you make of him overall? Then in the end, obviously getting the winner, but obviously the miss was also after we spoke about it. And then, yeah, what rating would you give him?
I would probably give him an 8 today. I mean, he was doing everything that he should be doing. It's just the thing that lacks is his finishing, which is something we've come to know from him.
Dribbling, and passing.
And and at least today, like the shots he did put were on target and they weren't into the corner flag, or they were at least testing the goalie for once, which is something that he didn't really do a lot of last year. A little bit unlucky to not have 2 goals, but overall I thought he was pretty good. I mean, he allowed a lot of space for the other players around him because he did the thing that he does all the time and makes runs.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think it would be overdoing it to give him an 8 today, to be honest. But Con, let me ask you. You were a bit trying to put us not down, but as in you were going to go a bit lower for Chilwell than we were. So would you be the same for Timo and go a bit lower, or would you go as high as an 8?
I don't really want to talk now because I was going to give Timo a 9.
Well, fine. Why not? You know, get some positivity in there. Go on.
I thought Timo was absolutely fantastic today. I know ball at his feet sometimes he's not the greatest, is he? He does give balls away, he does dribble into players. I get that, but the effectiveness of this guy is just another level compared to anyone else in this squad. Even more than Lukaku, Mason Mount. This guy is so effective. And it's like this classic argument always comes up: aesthetics versus effectiveness, you know? And he's right on that side of effectiveness, where he doesn't look nice to watch. He's not the most pleasing player to watch. He's not like your Eden Hazard, etc. But he's so bloody effective. And today he just made us play really well in attack. And without him today, we don't create half as many chances as we did. And he scored 2 goals today. I'm not gonna not give him the rating for that goal because that's a perfectly good goal in my eyes, you know. The officials screwed us there. And I think a 9's fair. I think he was man of the match, to be honest. I think his runs, just everything about him today, even his shooting was good today. Like, not one shot he looked, it's like, that's a really poor shot. He just looked up for it. He kept going and he kept going and he got the goal in the end. So for me, a 9, I think he was the best player for us today.
It's weird because in terms of effective output, you're probably right. But it's still like when I see him play football, it just always pains me to say he's man of the match because it's just not as good of a footballer as the other guys are. He's great at other things that the other guys are not good at. But obviously, you know, because we're a ball possession based team, you see it a lot with the ball at their feet, and then it's just like he just doesn't look the same. It's weird. I think 9 is maybe slightly pushing it, but I think overall with Pi saying 7.5 to 8, Clutch going 8, me going 8, you going 9, let's be positive. You know, we were positive on Lukaku and gave him that 7 rather than the 6.5. So let's give Timo that at least 8.5. You know, why not? Why not? Let's get to Mr. Callum Hudson-Odoi, who, in my opinion, put a bit of a marker down today. You know, I discussed it plenty of times in this channel. I'm like, he doesn't do enough for right wing back to say, oh, if only he played a left wing back, everything would be great. And I still firmly stand by that. Because the best part of his performance today was, in my opinion, number one, his physicality and how much he helped the team. And so much more than Kai and Ziyech did over the last 2 games from that position. Like, he was strong, he won fouls, he won headers. You know, sure, he got involved and should have had an assist too, and, you know, arguably should have scored a goal, obviously, with his chance that Tino obviously in the end messed up for him. But it was a good performance from him today, and better than any performance that Kai Havertz, Hakim Ziyech, well, not Timo, but at least than Kai or Hakim Ziyech have put out this season so far. I mean, okay, Villarreal, but that was half an hour until Ziyech got injured. So can you really give him that? And even, obviously, Pulisic has only played 1 game, but also Hudson-Odoi was better than Pulisic in that game, in my opinion. I know Pulisic scored that game. I don't care. Overall, he was still average. Like, fair play to him. You know, he did put a shift in today. I thought he was a bit unfortunate to be taken off. I think at that point, it being 1-1, I would have taken Azpi off for Mount and put Callum at right wing back. Obviously, in the end, we won anyway, so everything worked out. But I thought at the time it was a bit unlucky to be taken off. But yeah, I was very pleased with him today. For me, what rate would I give him? I don't know. I think he was better than Lukaku, so I'd probably give him a 7.5. The first half was probably an 8, and the second half was probably, until he came off, a 6, because in the second half I wasn't really involved. Because obviously we didn't start the second half particularly strong, so it only got better once Mason came on, and then obviously that's when he came off, I suppose. So I would probably give him a 7.5. Again, still think Lukaku's a tad high, but hey-ho. So that's why with Callum, because I think he was a bit better, I have to give him a 7.5, which I'm curious to see what you guys think about. So who did I go? Who went last time? Con, was it you? Yes, it was. So Con, let me go with you first this time. What did you make of Callum Hudson-Odoi?
I think I'd give him like 7.5 to an 8. I think it's the second half will let him down a bit. I think he gets just gassed out a bit. And I think that's just lack of minutes, you know. He hasn't played first team football for like sustained periods of time, so it's always going to happen. But that first half is really good. I liked it. And I just like how we have someone who's naturally like a wide player up front in that 3. Because normally you have Mount or Kai, and like they're quite narrow like they play quite inside, you know. It's nice to have just that natural width when Cho plays there. And I think he's really good. All over the pitch, it was helping us out. He's doing the dog work as well. You're seeing that right wing back sort of traits paying off when he's playing at the left there. And I thought he's really good, and it's good. I think he deserves next match, in my opinion. I'd definitely give him 7.5 turn 8.
Fair dues. I agree. So in that case, because Pice has just told us that he can stay a little bit longer than initially thought, brilliant. Let me go with Clutch first then. Would you agree on Callum, or what did you make of him? I know you said you texted me the first half, people were saying he was amazing. I also agreed he wasn't amazing. To be amazing, he should have scored his one-on-one with the goalie type thing. Obviously, he had an assist in the round up to it. And so even if you scored that, I think it would have been... Was that the same situation? Oh, no, it wasn't. I'm waffling. But he should have scored a little bit before he had that assist eventually. But what did you make of Callum overall then?
I'm probably going to be the lone one here. I would have gone with a 7. I don't want Lukaku as high as 7, but I would give Cho a 7. I mean, he started off that first 5 minutes a little bit shaky. And then after that, the first half, he started really growing into it. I really like how he can switch the play. Like, he's one of the best players at that, switching from one side of the field to the other.
Yeah,
and he did that multiple times, and I was like, oh my God. But, I mean, I didn't see anything superb from him. I think he did better than he has probably done all year at right wing back. But for me, I'm not going to say he was bad, because he was definitely not bad. But I'd probably give him a little bit better than average, like a 7.
Fair enough. Fair dues. And someone asked in the chat, am I Austrian? Not sure how you figured that out now, but yes, I am. So in that case then, Pice, what did you make of Callum? So we find out what we should rate him in the end.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with both of you a little bit here in some sense. I think one of you said that the second half let him down a little bit. I do agree. I thought he kind of was a little bit rusty, but I mean, to be fair, it's because he's not played much. But I thought the first half he was really good. He was really direct. That's what I want to see from Callum, and that's why I like him on the left. I've said this so many times. On the right, yes, he's direct, but he runs out of space when he plays right wing back because he can't cut in on his left because he hasn't got a left foot. So all he has to do is either cross it, because obviously the pitch is then pretty much ended by the time he bloody goes direct to one-on-one. Because the defender closes him down and then it's just lack of space. So he has to cross it. Or he has to do what Moses used to do, and just every time he got into an attacking opportunity, instead of crossing, his other option is just to go back and pass back. But on the left-hand side, what he can do is he can run at people. He can either go down the line, cut back in, cross with his right foot, or he can cut in and shoot with his left foot, or do what, as Clutch was saying, switch the play. And I thought that's what he was really good at. He was really fluid in the first half. As I said, should have got an assist because obviously VAR ruled it out. But I think 7 because the second half didn't really notice him as much. But I want to see him more there, man. I really don't want this to be a one-off. Please, I'm begging. I hope Tuchel's seen enough for him to give more opportunities there. He's just so clear on the left-hand side to wherever else he plays. It's just, please play him more there. I want to see more.
Especially while Ziyech and Havertz are very out of form and Pulisic isn't fit.
Bro, but this is the thing, Laurenz. Havertz and Ziyech are not left-sided players anyway. So this is why we was getting so annoyed. Is because why play him on the left?
But you could play Mount there, obviously, and play.
No. Mount is the only exception. If you play Mount on the left, fine, because I think Mount's really good on the left and the right. But when I see Ziyech there or Havertz on the left, I'm just like, why? They're just
I agree.
They're not good there. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
so crazy. We've had 2 7.5s from myself and Con, and 2 7s from Pice and Clutch. So because we were nice to both Lukaku and Werner and always gave them the top rating, I'm going to give Callum a 7.5. I hope no one's going to have too much of a go for and before this. I know last time we did the subs first, but let's this time do the subs at the very end. Let's go through the starting 11 and next get to our midfield too. And for once, let's actually do them separately because we're going the other way around, so we're not as stressed yet. Let's go with Mateo Kovacic first because he was maybe it was weird really because Ruben ended up in more attacking positions, but on average was also the one that stayed back more, which is very interesting. But Ruben had just a bigger range of activity than Kova, not in a negative way against Kova. I just thought it was interesting. When we attacked and we had a midfielder really high up, it was always Ruben. But if a midfielder stayed really deep, it was Ruben and not Kova. It was interesting. But I thought Kova was good today. I didn't really understand why Jorginho came on for Kova, unless Kova was tired, which would be fair enough, of course. But But yeah, I thought it was pretty decent. There was a couple of balls from him, which I thought, ooh, spicy. But yeah, overall decent performance. I was very happy with them as a combination. It didn't leave too many ridiculous gaps in the middle, which I was slightly worried about. And they're both, as a pairing, they held the discipline. So well done to both of them. I don't know. Kovacic, it was nothing outrageous. So see, I still that 7 by Lukaku is still a thorn in my eye. I can't lie. Because I would love to give Kova a 7, but I just think he was still way more active than Lukaku was. So on that note, probably a 7.5 from my end then. But hey, let's see. Let me go with you. Let me go with Clutch first this time. Why not? What did you make of Kova?
I have him as a 7.5. He had a couple passes in the first half, like that first time pass to, I think it was Aspie running down the right, where it was like that first one-time on. Like today, we've seen a passing range from our midfield that we haven't seen for a while. They're passing deep. They were making the right decisions. Kova was pressing. Like I think Kovacic was. The only unfortunate thing is I think Ruben outshined him, and that's kind of like, for me, why I would give him a 7.5. But I think he was overall pretty good today, I think.
But yeah, like I said, I would agree on a 7.5. So, Pice, what about yourself? Obviously, you're a big fan of Kovacic. Did you see? I don't even want to say this negative at all. Obviously, if you're a specifically big fan of someone, you always pay a little bit more attention to them, and sometimes that makes you see more bad things. Sometimes that makes you see more good things. So, especially for that, I'm always intrigued what you think of Kovacic. So, what did you make of him today, mate?
Yeah, like with Kovacic, as you said, like I do pay attention to him a lot. Like, and it's hard not to, even if you're just like not a fan of him, because he just always seems to be skipping past players, and I just love him.
Obviously, on the ball, everyone notices this, but like off the ball, you probably notice him more than.
But the thing is, like, he's got so much more progressive this season, and
yeah,
I'll keep saying it until everyone else realizes it, because I still see some people saying, "Oh, Kova's not very progressive." So I'm like, what? Like, are you watching this season? Like, he used to pass it sideways a lot, but this guy's like, I don't know what's happened to him. It must be Tuchel. Like, it must be. Like, honestly, his progressive passing this season is getting so much more better. He's trying more daring things. And that's why, like, I think he's been really good this season. But in terms of today, yeah, again, I thought he was solid overall. The rating's a bit, I'm not sure. The rating's a bit difficult, obviously, because I thought Ruben played really well as well, and I'm just trying to think what I'd do next. But I'll give him a 7.5, I think, because 7.5. We'll go over that. I think that's fair.
Fair. So, Con, unless you go much higher or much lower than 7.5, 7.5 will be the rating. But what would it be for you specifically for Kovacic?
For me, I think 7.5 to an 8. I think he really held it down today without Kante or Jorginho there. I think he was fantastic. He did a lot of the dirty work. I'm also, like Pies, a massive fan of Kova. I think he's the most progressive player we have in our team by a country mile. Like, even last season, he was. I don't know why people always underappreciate Kovacic.
Well, now with Ruben, I'm not sure I agree, but fair.
Even more than Ruben, because I feel like Kovacic can do that with a pass. Ruben needs a bit more of the dribbling.
Does it more with runs, that's true.
Yeah.
Ruben does it with a drive, doesn't he? He's not really like a passer. And
I think Kovacic, that's where I think Kovacic like maybe edges Ruben if you compare the two, where he can do both. He can drive and he's got that pass in his locker, where Ruben needs to work on that pass just a little bit more. But I think they're both equally as good today, 7.5 or 8, because they both locked it down. And I'm a big fan of this. Like, these two together, I'm a big fan, because our midfield today, it looks so good on attack, Just going forward, it looks so good. Big fan of it.
I agree. And also, I'm sorry, Sir Timo, I'm sorry. We get to Mr. Ruben Loftus-Cheek next. Adash telling me we need to give him a 12, otherwise he's unsubscribing and writing. So maybe we need to. But, because he's my favourite player, I will go first. Not that I haven't gone first on most other players. But anyway, yeah. I mean, I tweeted it. Obviously there's a lot of people that like Ruben, clearly, as Chelsea fans, because it was kind of the first since John Terry that really broke through. Obviously, he didn't, aside from the Sarri season, until the injury didn't properly happen, because obviously injuries stopped him, like his back spasm problems, and then obviously it was on loan at Palace that one season, and then obviously the injury came. But I'm just so I don't think many people understand how immeasurably happy it makes me to see him start and play well. Like, I don't think people understand. It's crazy to me. And every time we talk about Ruben, I fully admit I have a bias for him. There's no denying that. But I do think he was brilliant. Sure, there was a couple of passes in transition where if he found that pass maybe a split second earlier or a split second more power on it, we might have created another bigger chance. But I think overall, like, I think it was a tad better than Kovacic, not like outrageously better, just a tad. And what I'm mostly impressed by is that he's seemingly the closest thing we have to a Jorginho backup. He's seemingly the closest to being able to be like to cover Jojo's role when Jorginho needs a rest. And I never in my life expected him to be that role. Like once we started the season, we were like, okay, Ruben seemingly is staying around. Let's see how much game time he gets. That was the last thing I thought he would be playing as this season. But he is, and he's doing it well. Like I touched on earlier, especially in the second half when like we played out from the back, he was the one that dropped the deepest like Jojo usually does. Even though he had a few misplaced passes in like higher up the pitch, never once did he seem in any sort of danger of losing the ball in the dangerous area now. Like if someone gets close to him, he's stronger than them anyway. He's so quick on his feet to usually skip around them anyway. And I'm loving the vision and he's so aware of what's around him. Not quite as good as Jorginho, obviously, because that's probably what Jorginho is best at, of knowing what's around him. But that's what's impressed me the most about Ruben. Like he's so aware of where people are. Like that's why he's always able to, or usually able to find either a first or second touch pass. And that's what I'm most impressed about. Sure, I still think he can give us more in the final third, and that will come with game time and confidence and everything if he gets that. But I would probably give him an 8. Does it hurt me in my heart to give him less than Timo Werner? Yes, it does. But I have to try to be objective at least. And yeah, also the fact that he stayed on longer than Kova, even if it was because Kova was tired, still, happy for me. It didn't necessarily... When Barkley came on for Ruben, I texted my girlfriend like, F off, like, why Ruben? Come on. But then Barkley's pass, made everything fair enough. So, yeah, for me, Ruben is an 8, maybe an 8.5, but I will concede probably an 8 is the fairest rating. So let me put it to you. Let me put it to you, Con. Why not? Let me put it to you. So you just said for you, they were very similar, both 7.5 to 8, so I don't think we're far off. But what did you make of Ruben? And do you agree on what I said, that it's just surprising that he's the guy that seems to be Jojo's backup?
To be fair, I'm not surprised. I agree with everything you said there. I just think under Sarri, like there's many things Chelsea fans can talk about Sarri and what went wrong here or etc. what they didn't like. But one thing you can't deny is Sarri really did help Loftus-Cheek like go up in his game, and tactically we're seeing that. We're starting to see like that Sarri-esque Loftus-Cheek again, and that's why he's so aware, instead of always trying to dribble. Like there's so many times where he almost lost the ball today and he just manages to find that pass, and I love that. And it's great. I feel sorry for Saul because it looks like you've come here for no reason, lad. You come all the way from because if Loftus is playing like this,
bro, I forgot. I literally forgot we signed that guy.
Yeah. Bro, like with Loftus playing like this, like he ain't getting a game. So I love it. And like you said, Lawrence, like every Chelsea fan loves him. Like if you're a Chelsea fan, you don't love Loftus-Cheek, you're a weirdo. I'm just gonna say how it is. You're a weirdo, and I just hope he carries it on. I thought it was great today, and like I said, I thought him and Cobb were very similar. If you want to give Loftus a little bit higher because it is Loftus, I don't mind that either.
Brilliant, love that. So let me put it to you, Pies. So obviously, he also loves Ruben. Let me not paint Pies in the wrong picture here. But obviously, he also loves Cover. So maybe for him, it will be more difficult to give Ruben an extra 0.5 just because it's Ruben. So Pies, what did you make of Ruben?
I don't care, to be honest. Like, I love Ruben so much. Like, honestly, like, I have a bias with him as well. Like, it's just, I'm just so happy for him because, like, every time I think about Ruben, I just think about that terrible injury. And then, like, a lot of people as well, I actually watched a lot of Fulham games just because of Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Like, seriously, I tuned into them a lot when they were in the Premier League. And I actually thought he was pretty good for them, like quite a lot. He was actually, there was signs where I remember one game against Man U, he played, one game against Spurs away, he was very, very good. And I was thinking, like, I'm not going to tweet it because I'll get absolutely abused. But I was going to say, like, looking like, oh, Ruben's back here in this game. Like, genuinely, the forward runs he was making, the power, like, he did play well for Fulham. And I know a lot of people give him a lot of slander and not enough hope.
He just didn't score and assist much, but
that was the only thing. I agree. I was just about to come on to that. He didn't get, like, enough goal involvements. Yeah, that was pretty much it. But I'm very happy for him, and if he can keep this like deep role in the pivot, if he can keep up the form and just use his body, keep his body well and fit and healthy, and keep his strength there, because like, to be honest, if Ruben's got like that ability to drive from deep using his strength, like, there's very rarely many midfielders in the Premier League that can stop him. Like, seriously, like, there's just not. That was one of the big things with Ruben, why he was so good. So yeah, I'm praying he doesn't pick up an injury. All fingers crossed. But yeah, good performance today. And yeah, I really enjoyed his performance. Very, very good driving forward, as I've just said. Was good on the ball as well, I thought, passing wise. He gave a couple away, but overall, I think was pretty solid performance. He had a decent strike in the first half or second half, I can't remember as well, which went wide.
I tweeted it. I was like, I honestly, when he hit that, I thought he just scored an absolute. Before it went wide, I was like, as it was flying, I was like, is he just scoring a screamer? And like, I was ready to go mental.
Like, my stream was going from like really clear to like a bit fuzzy, and as he hit the shot, it went fuzzy. So I was like, oh my god, that's going in, and then like it just came back into quality when it just went past. So yeah, but I thought he nearly scored that. But yeah, good performance.
So would you agree on the 8 that myself and
yeah, for sure.
Fair dues.
Sure.
And then lastly, Clutch, Mr. Clutch. Not sure why I called you Mr. Clutch then, but off we go. What did you make of Ruben?
I'm going to give him an 8.5, but I'm also going to bump it up because I'm on your channel and give it to a 9.
Big fan of you then.
He did get the assist on the first goal, so that was something he also, like they said, he controlled the midfield. He barely loses the ball in the midfield. He's a big, strong guy. He's kind of what you were wanting when people were wanting like Declan Rice. And to think that this guy's an 8, but he's playing this well as a 6, that is like absolutely insane to think that this guy is now changing his future at a club where I didn't think he had a future to he might even possibly be the guy coming up. He's probably having the best season so far out of any player. So, I mean, I'm willing to give him even higher for that reason alone. Just him controlling midfield, being strong, pushing everybody off the ball.
You would go as high as for Timo with him?
Yes, I would. If I'm being completely honest, it would be him or Timo would be my man of the match.
You know what? Because it's Ruben and I make the rules, I'm going to make it an 8.25 just because... Timo played the whole game, won us the game, and Ruben came off at 1-1, and we only won it after. So as much as I loved him and he was great, I still feel like for that, someone that played the whole 90 kind of has to edge it a little bit, just to try to be objective, basically. But, I'm not complaining about this. And like I touched on, if he is that backup to Jorginho now, he will get game time this season. He might not start every game, and he probably shouldn't start every game, but he will get plenty of game time. And, for me, that's brilliant. I'm very, very pleased. Let's get to Azpi. Shout out, by the way, I forgot to mention it for Ruben. Very correct by Clutch. Obviously, he got the flick on for Chalobah's goal to make it 1-0. That cross by Azpi for the Werner goal that actually stood is unbelievable. Like, as outrageous as Barkley's ball was, and Barkley's ball was even better than Azpi's cross, but in the torrential rain as it was at the bridge today, for Azpi to put that cross first time in, for people to say, he doesn't do enough offensively, that's outrageous. Like, his technique and ability to cross the ball is so heavily underrated. Sure, he's not quite as good as Reece, but Reece is like up there with Trent and De Bruyne as some of the best in the world at this, right? But Azpi is still very, like, that first time cross is outrageous. Like, fair play to him, and overall, did a good job, got involved. I was pleased with him. I would probably give him a 7.5 like I did for Kovacic and Chilwell. And this time, let me switch it around. Let me switch the order around. So, Clutch, what did you make of Big Captain Azpi today?
First, somebody said, did he get the assist for the second goal? Or the third goal? The Chile goal? Somebody said he did.
Well, I don't think he did. The bar and it fell to Chile. So
yeah, I don't think he did. You said 7.5.
So Romelu hit the post, right? It fell to Azpi. He hit the bar, and then from the bar, it fell to Chile. So it's not an official assist, but
okay. They call that a hockey assist here. I would give him an 8. I think he played overall pretty good on defense, and then he got that assist. I mean, that ball was actually, the half volley to a ground pass? Yeah, so, I mean, I'd give him an 8.
I agree. I will bump my rating for him up to an 8 too. So let's ask Con. Would you agree on an 8, or do you think it should still be more of a 7.5 maybe?
7.5, 8. Yeah, he was around there for sure. Great performance. I ain't really got much to say. But you're right about the crossing technique. I think it's very underrated. It's got a solid cross. We saw that with Morata, didn't we? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I thought it was solid today. 7.5, 8. That mind.
Fair dues. Pice, it's on you now. Whether we give him a 7.5 or an 8. What did you make of Aspie?
This is difficult. I don't know.
It is
I'm
difficult, I
literally
know.
like I'm toying between these two ratings because I do agree.
I would allow you to give him a 7.75 because I'm in good mood.
Yeah, I think that's the only way we're going to decide it, isn't it? I mean, like Chilwell got the goal and he gets a 7.5, and I thought he was decent, but I gave away a pen. Azpi was overall solid, got an assist, didn't give away a pen, so I think he should slightly sneak it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Let's give him a 7.5. I mean, hey, it wouldn't be. You know what? Let's actually ask the chat. Chat, what are you saying? Has to be an 8. Goodison. Goodison is telling us Aspie got 2 assists today. Well, the second one doesn't count as an assist, does it? Aspie 8 for me, the assist was too good. Aspie 7. Well, Aspie 8. Well, that's the same guy. 8. 7.75. Chalobah 7.75. Well,
they're all saying 8, bro. All of them are saying 8.
All of them were saying 8. All right. You guys are getting it. You know, because I appreciate my chat. So that's why I'll give it to you. Let's get to the back three and let's get to the goal scorer first. I love Chalobah. Big fan of him. Don't like his hair. Should fix that. But outside of that, big fan. I mean, second goal, he has 2 goals. Jadon Sancho has 0. So I'm a fan of that. Brilliant. Like, sure, it wasn't like the most outrageous goal ever. But he made sure he got there and he made sure he put it in, didn't put it over, didn't put it wide, didn't like do anything silly with it. And he got it in, and defensively he was super strong. In my opinion, he was very, very good. Like, he dealt with everything that came his way, and you know, did a really, really good job. Obviously, the fact that Walker Peters is their left back, who is actually a right back, makes our right side defending a bit easier than Livramento on the left side, who is obviously having a wonderful season and is a wonderful player too. But yeah, I mean, Chalobah with the goal, with how good he was defensively, it probably has to be at least an 8, to be honest, because didn't do anything wrong defensively and got a goal. So what are we going to give him deductions for, really? So, I mean, because obviously most of our game was kind of like midfield and final third kind of heavy, it's kind of difficult. But if you're deep, Chalobah is a strong shout for man of the match as well, in terms of got a goal, strong defensively. That's his job. Did his job very, very well. So maybe he's up there with Timo. I'm not sure. I'm not going to go first on this one, and I will allow Pice not to go last on this one. So I will let you go first this time, Pice. What did you make of Chalobah, and what would you rate him? Because I find it very difficult in comparison to the others. I mean,
his quality, bro. Chalobah is quality. Honestly, I thought he was amazing today. It's crazy as well, right? Like his trajectory as well, like being on these loans and just like it's crazy. Like one of his first games, I think people were just kind of like worried how he'd get on, but every time I see him on the team sheet now, I see 0 people concerned about him. 0. It's like he's just like he's an established member of this back three, and he is now. Like genuinely, he's very good. He's very solid. He's quick. He's good defensively. He's good positionally. Like he gets goals as well. Like he chips in with going forward. Like he can slot into DM. Like honestly, he's so versatile as well. Like yeah, very good performance today. And I love him, man. Really, really do. As you said, like could be one of the contenders for man of the match. Quite underrated as well today. I think not a lot of people are talking about him, but very, very good performance. For that, I'm gonna have to give him. So what we've got Werner 8.5. I mean, I don't think he was worse than Werner, to be honest. I really don't.
No, I don't either.
In fact, overall, he was probably better, just in terms of.
He probably was, yeah. He probably was. I'm thinking the same thing at the moment, yeah.
Honestly, like you can't really argue against that, in my opinion. So
I'm also thinking we should push Ruben to an 8.5 and give Chalobah an 8, to be honest.
But the thing is, though, I wanted to give Chalobah like at least the same rating, but then I don't think Ruben was.
I was going to give Chalobah a 9 now.
Oh, was you? See, I was going to keep them on 8.5.
Because what can you criticise him for, I'm thinking?
No, I know. It's just that obviously Werner got the second goal, and that was so vital. So, like, I don't know.
What was it more vital than the first goal? Because if the first goal doesn't happen, the second goal is going to be the first goal.
I was just going to say that. Like, I'll let Clutch and Con argue about it as well, because it's hard one. It's hard.
Fair. Let me put it to you, Con. What would you say if we pushed Ruben to an 8.5, Cover to an 8, and gave Chalobah a 9?
I'd be like, where's Furness 9?
Well, in his touch.
I feel like oh god, I feel like
Bounced off him that 0.5.
the thing with football is the attackers are always rated more than the defensive players. I don't know why. It's just the thing, isn't it? I don't make the rules, sadly, and I feel Timo's what he gave to Chelsea today is what more than Chalobah did. Like you said, you can't fault him for anything, but you didn't really have that much to do either. So if you put him above Timo in this game, I feel that'd be harsh on Timo. I feel like he deserves this one, you know. Chalobah definitely second. I agree with that. I think he's definitely just behind. I wouldn't mind giving him, if you give Werner a 9 as well, and if you want to give Chalobah a 9 and Werner gets man of the match by, I don't know, by scoring.
A margin.
Yeah, by a margin, yeah. Give him a 9.01, isn't it?
Okay, let's put it to Con, because to Clutch, sorry. So the question is, do we give Chalobah an 8.5 and make it by a margin, or do we push them both up to a 9 and then push up Cover, Ruben, and maybe even Callum a little bit? Because I do think Callum was very good in the first half. I know, Clutch, you disagreed, but I do think it wouldn't be unjustified if we pushed Callum and Cover up to an 8, Ruben to the full 8.5, and gave Werner and Chalobah a 9 to us. I don't think we'd be harsh on anyone here, or too nice for anyone here either, in all honesty. I mean, for Werner a little bit, and I'm kind of just going for Con here, but anyway. So, Clutch, what do you make of that?
I can't argue against it. That's the thing. So, I mean, I don't have anything to say bad about Chalobah. He did nothing wrong today. So, if you want to go ahead and give him a 9, for me, it was hard to even rate him. I think we definitely were not going to get scored on again today. And he is one of the biggest parts of that. I think him and Rudiger were really good in defense today.
That is true. It's difficult for me because, I mean, like Goodison says here in the chat, Chalobah did let 1 or 2 crosses in. To be honest, Chalobah 8 or 8.5 is good enough. I mean, if you go by letting in crosses, then I mean, you can't stop every cross. Try playing football and you can't stop every cross. That's physically impossible. But yeah, I mean, I do. When I look at it now, when I look at our ratings, I do think Callum is the one we've been most harsh with. I do think he probably deserves an 8. I was just very happy with him in the first half. I know it was kind of invisible in the second half, but I don't think that was his fault, if that makes sense. So I would find it harsh to deduct points from him, if that makes sense. So, I mean, if anyone really has a big problem with this, shout. But I'm just going to do what I'm going to do right now. And then see where we are at the end. Because if we give Lukaku a 7, I know Pies is unhappy with me because it's like Lukaku off here. But to me, in my heart, it still feels it does feel wrong to give Werner a 9, but here we are. Let's be positive. Let's be nice. Let's be positive. Thiago Silva then, ladies and gentlemen. Thiago Silva. I was slightly surprised that he started again, to be honest. I mean, the man's 37. He's now started 3 games in a week. Didn't even know he could do that anymore, especially now going out to Brazil. He's probably going to be out for 3 weeks after that. But hey, we'll see. Good performance from him. I mean, got a yellow card. That was never a yellow card. Still can't comprehend how he got ever. I mean, it's maybe a foul because he went in flying a little bit, but he didn't have his legs stretched. He clearly got the ball first, and he barely touched the guy. So I can't understand how that's ever a yellow card. But anyway, that ref was on something anyway. But yeah, Thiago, I don't know, give him a 7.5, 8, something like that. It's a good defensive performance, but obviously didn't get a goal like Chalobah. So something like that, I would probably say. But Clutch, let me go first with you this time. What did you make of Thiago?
I think he was the worst out of the 3, which is really saying something. I think 7.5 is probably fair for him. Was kind of a bogus yellow card, but I mean, in this sport, that happens sometimes. You do get calls against you, and that's just how it goes. I mean, I'd give him a 7.5. I don't have any. It was just him for me. Or he was not bad. He didn't do anything wrong, so I'll give him that.
Fair enough.
He did that one thing wrong. Never mind. But
what did he do wrong?
The yellow card.
Yeah, well, happens. It's kind of a good tackle still. I think if the refs has a lenient day, I think he doesn't even call it foul, personally.
I thought he won the ball, to be fair. I don't know.
He did.
I don't know about you guys.
Dangerous challenge, flying in with a lot of pace on it. That's what he gave the foul for.
The game's too soft now, bro. It's a joke.
It is true. It's true. But go on, Pies. As you just started talking, what did you make of Thiago?
Yeah, no, I slightly disagree with Clutch. I don't think by saying he was the worst, I don't think that's the right phrase. I just think he was the least noticed out of the three, if that makes sense. Like Rudiger was going on mad runs. I just think Silva was less involved somehow, which is weird because he was the middle centre back. But I still think he was pretty solid, like 8, something like that. 8.
Yeah. Like I said, 7.58 is definitely somewhere around there. So, Con, decider is on you. 8, 7.5, or would you go with something different?
I think it's an 8, to be honest. I think I agree with Pies. So everything he said, I don't think.
Oh no, actually, we really think Thiago was as good as Azpi.
But it's the thing. It's like you gave Chalobah props for not doing anything wrong. I don't even think that yellow card was even a foul, like yellow. So, and there was a point where he won it so high up the pitch as well. I can't remember. It's like second half, and we got a chance from it. So it's just locking it down, isn't it? That's what you expect from him.
Yeah. Maybe we just need to also give Azpi an 8.5, and then Thiago's 8 is good.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that.
Why not? Why not? Why not? Because obviously we rated the other one tie, and we kind of the 8 for Azpi was alongside the others. So I don't think we're doing anyone an injustice here. But even though Rudiger, I agree that Rudiger did a bit more than Thiago, but I'm not sure if he did enough to warrant an 8.5, if that makes sense. I'm not sure what we will do with that one here. Obviously, if he did get the assist for Lukaku, it would have been an 8.5, but because Lukaku was unfortunately that kind of few inches offside, he did get the assist as much as it deserved it. So I don't really know. Does anyone think Rudiger should get an 8.5?
I think so.
Really?
I think if Lukaku's not offside there, we're talking about Rudiger having the assist of the season, you know? So I think he was great as well. He was progressive.
Had earlier.
He was progressive as well. Really solid performance. Very solid performance from Rudiger today.
I 100% agree with the words. It's just when I look at the other race, I'm like, I don't think it was as good as Azpi and Ruben.
So do you know them crosses just spoke about Chalobah not sort of getting to, right? Who's the guy clearing them? It was Rudiger. So yeah. Let's see what the other guys are saying, and then we'll do a bit of democracy as we love on this channel. So let me go with you first, Pies, or next, Pies. Would you give? Do you think Rudiger warrants an 8.5?
So it's interesting because I'm slightly tempted to put Silva down to a 7.5 and then Rudiger's an 8. I
agree.
I think that's what I would do. I just think, as one of the comments said, 8.5 seems high. Like, I don't know if I think it maybe just a tad. I think 8 for Rudiger and Silva 7.5 because I still think like it's fine margins. They're both still very good ratings. Rudiger was good. Con was right. Rudiger was clearing a lot of crosses. He had like the Rudy run as he did to he has every game really. To Lukaku, I thought he was good. I think that's how I'd have the defense's ratings. But I think they're all solid to be fair. It's like it's really hard when you get to the defense against a team that didn't really have many chances. Like how do you separate them? You've got to be very there's got to be minuscule things in the game.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, I agree. And I also agree with Adar's comment here. Give the guy his money. Like, Rudiger's form at the moment is unbelievable. And he's been having that form for months. I can't even comprehend how this is a debate within Chelsea that he shouldn't get 200k. Like, what? Like, look at how many people we've given ridiculous money to. We still pay Drinkwater 100k like a week. Do you know what I mean? And I know, I doubt Reading pay any of the wages. If they do, they pay probably 10, 20 grand of it. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not outrageous to give Rudiger 200k, and I don't understand why we've not long done it. But hey ho. So Clutch. Then in the end, would you? I mean, you kind of agreed with this 7.5 for Thiago anyway, so I presume you're not going to be upset with this 8 for Rudiger and 7.5 for Thiago.
No, not at all. I mean, Rudiger is arguably our best one-on-one defender. I can't even think of a time that he's been beaten in like recent memory on one-on-one. Which is like, if you remember Frank Lampard days, like he was getting beat all the time. Now he just doesn't get beat. So, I mean, I'm down for an 8.
I mean, people say Chiesa beat him for the goal in midweek. I still haven't really watched it back, to be honest, because I was too annoyed. maybe kind of, but in a one-on-one, definitely has.
Wasn't really. Wasn't really.
I mean, on
a
a
one-on-one.
yeah, he's
No, it wasn't
running
one-on-one.
towards the goal. I mean, that's different
The other guy
than
was
him
just a tad
trying to take
quicker.
him on.
I
Yeah,
suppose it
that's-
was just that. Let's get to the guy who I would give the lowest rating of today, even though he penalty. Obviously, I'm not going to have a go at Mendy for, but I think his passing today was, to be honest, for a lack of a better word, dreadful. Like, I don't think he completed a single long ball. All of them were awful. Even when he tried to go for Lukaku, he put it like 15 yards to his left or to his right. I'm like, what are you doing? When he took, like, early in the first half, he got very lucky that there's in German, there's a word for it, which is called press ball, which is like when, 2 feet go on one ball and it's kind of like lucky where it bounces. Like, he was lucky that he kept that. Like, it was pure luck, not like, oh, cool and collected. That was pure luck that he kept that. And obviously he didn't really have anything to save, so we can't really give him any like adding points for saves. But I think his passing was really poor today. So I don't know. For that reason, I would probably give 5. Always looks harsh. So I was thinking, because the passing, I was really unhappy with it. I was thinking someone like 5.5, but I suppose a 6 would probably also suffice in comparison to the other ratings. But what did you guys make of that, Pice? I know you need to head off in a second, so I'll go with you last, so then you can do the ratings for the subs after. But Con, do you agree on that criticism of the passing for Mendy, and what would you rate him?
No, I fully agree. I think Mendy's passing was really off today. I agree with you 100% with everything you said, so I'm not going to waffle one.
But what rating would you give him then? A 6, 5.5, maybe 6.5? I don't know.
A 5.5 seems harsh. I'd give him a 6. Didn't have anything else really to do, but just passing was off.
Fair. So, Clutch, what about yourself?
I have him as a 6 too. Like, he got extremely fortunate that he barely touched the ball out of, I think it was Redmond's way early on in the game. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm going to give him a 6. Then we can.
Fair. Pice, would you agree on the 6, or would you go higher or lower?
Don't really have any complaints, to be fair. Maybe, no, I was thinking 6.5, but I don't know, 6 seems really low. I don't know, I look at the rest of the ratings and I see 6. Like,
I do think he was our worst player. I don't think Lukaku was much better than him, but I do think he was our worst player, to be honest.
Just in terms of passing, though, like everything else.
Yeah, but he didn't have anything else to do. So. That was the only thing he had to do, and he did that badly. So
that's true, but it's also a good thing. Shows he's a good keeper. So I don't know, 6 if you want, I guess.
Well, we had 3 6s anyway, so unless you went 7, it wouldn't have changed it anyway. But because, like I said, you need to head off in a second, why don't you give us your ratings for the 3 subs? Obviously, starting with Mount, Jorginho, and then Ross Barkley.
Mount is an 8, definitely at least, maybe higher. I thought he was very good. I've already tweeted it, but the runs down the right channel, oh my days, man. He was dangerous. Like, he just brought intensity. Like, and that sounds a stupid thing to say. Like, oh yeah, well done. Everyone knows that with Mount, but just keep saying it because that's what he brings, and it changes so much in a game like that. As I said to you before, after we conceded, I thought we was really static. I didn't really see a reaction, but when Mount came on, he kind of just leaded the team.
He brought the reaction.
Yeah, like he brought the reaction. Like he led by example. Like his runs down the right channel were so good. He had a fist ball in the box where I think was it Chilwell who shot, and there was like I think it hit Lukaku or something. But I remember that piece of play.
I can't remember it, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, but basically, yeah, he was just really good. So at least an 8, I think. I'll go with an 8.
Okay, with an 8. Okay, then I'll take the little slash off here. But fair. What about Jorginho? I mean, to be honest, I barely noticed Jorginho.
I barely noticed Jorginho.
Out, but I didn't really notice.
Yeah, I barely noticed Jorginho. I can't. I don't really have much to say. Unless you guys can remember something. I don't really remember any tackles, any passes. To be honest,
just his touch to get that red card. It was pretty good.
Yeah, true. I mean, yeah, he did bring the red card.
He did, that is true.
Yeah,
but it's just difficult to rate him because, like, you probably give him a 7, but that seems unfair because, like, it's almost like, okay, then that would make him the second worst player on the day, which he isn't. So it's almost more logical to give him an NA for me. Do you agree, guys?
Subs are quite hard, like with limited minutes, to give a proper rating. I think it doesn't
Yeah,
necessarily.
I know. That's what I mean. We can do like a rating with a star as well. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
But
7
what
with a
rating
star.
with a star?
I think it's
7
just
with-
hard because if you have Barkley too, who had arguably the best pass of the day.
I mean, if we're going to
That's-
do star ratings, Barkley's getting a 10 star.
Yeah,
Because
that's what
always outrageous.
that's what I'm saying. Like with Barkley, I remember he came on, his first touch, he passed the ball out of play, and I was like, oh my god. And then he got that pass to Azpi, and I was like, oh my god, again, but in the right way. He just confuses me. But like Barkley always does seem to do all right for us. Like it's weird. Like Barkley's a weird player. Like no one ever really gives him any praise, but he does see whenever he plays. Like Lampard, he was good. He scored quite a few goals. And if Tuchel's going to use him, then like fair enough. I hope he does well. To be fair to him, because Tuchel's developed players that we didn't think had a chance anymore. So I feel like if he does that with Barkley as well, then geez, like we've got Jorginho, Kante, Cover, Saul, Loftus-Cheek, Barkley. Like our midfield's mental.
I will just say something before you head off, Pies. Barkley came on ahead of. I'm not sure if Ziyech was on the bench, but he came off ahead of Havertz today when we were chasing a goal.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to keep Havertz out of the scene today. I can't lie. I think he was just trying to keep him wrapped up. Like I don't know, I don't think he wanted Havertz in there. I think with his form, yeah, I don't think it's the smartest idea, especially when we was trying to try and obviously see out the game and win the game. I don't think it was the smartest thing to do with his form. So I think that was smart on Tuchel's end, of course, because he didn't bring him on. Yeah,
I agree. So what star rating would you give Ross then, Pies, before I let you
go? An 8, maybe an 8.5. An 8, I think. I think an 8.
With a star?
Yeah, because I'm not quite sure how to rate the subs on so little minutes, but...
Fair. Just because I usually do with the man of the match, so let me just put it here with Werner. Just quickly, your rating for Tuchel today, mate?
Oh, this is difficult. I love the lineup. To be honest, I don't think Tuchel did anything wrong. I thought the subs were good. God, I'm trying to think anything that I thought. I mean, if I give him a 10, then it would be a bit overboard, I think, just because
I would let me, because I agree with you. It is kind of a 10, but I think he did it again late, so it's a 9 because he should have done this against Juve, but he didn't.
Like it's weird because it's kind of a 10, but it's kind of not as well because we did get the goals late, and it's kind of we wasn't absolutely dominant, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. For me, it's just because he didn't do it against Juve. That's why I don't want to give him a 10 today. I know it doesn't really make sense, but it really pissed me off against Juve.
You're still holding emotions. I understand.
Exactly.
That game was not fun.
Yeah, exactly. But Pies, I do appreciate you a lot for coming on. Obviously, myself, Con, and Clutch will, quickly discuss what Pies, the ratings Pies gave, and maybe we'll slightly adapt them. We'll see. But Pies, appreciate you for coming on as always. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, check out his Twitter down in the description below. But yeah, Pies, thank you, and we'll talk to you soon, bro.
For sure. See you guys. See you, Con and Clutch. See you guys
later, man.
In a bit, mate.
Yeah.
Lovely. So, on that note, let me go with you first, Mr. Con. Mason Mount. Let me just add something to what Pi said. I think impact-wise, he was huge, and mentality-wise, to bring us back up. Okay, we were going to turn this around here. But I do still think there was some moments where I'm like, okay, you could have done that a tad better. So in the end, I probably agree on the 8, but his impact itself probably warrants a 9, if that makes sense. But the football doesn't quite allow a 9 or an 8.
So where's this energy for Werner, Laurenz, bro?
Hey, we gave Werner a 9. What are you having to go about?
You didn't want to give him a 9. Let's be honest.
I didn't, but I wanted to give him an 8.5. I got far off.
It's kind of what Werner did today. What he did for the team was better than what he actually did individually. And I gave Werner high props for that. So I'm going to give Mount high props for that. So I think 8's fair. I think he just brought us that intensity.
For me, the 8 was with saying that's not enough to get a high rating, though. Same thinking as I had with Timo, which is why I was like, isn't this a bit high? Because yes, but also football counts.
Yeah.
But fair.
Yeah, with Mount today, I think he deserves that.
Let me ask you one thing: with a star or without a star? Because obviously he was the first sub, so he had kind of proper minutes.
I think with a star today.
Okay. Clutch, what about yourself? With a star, personally, I would probably say 8.5 for me. But Clutch, what about you?
With the star, I'd also say 8.5. I mean, people, like, you see it on Twitter all the time, just, like, people underestimate what Mount does for this team. He's going to be the future captain of this team. I don't think anybody should question that. And when he comes out and he changes the dynamic, in like the first 10 minutes that he was on the pitch, he had one touch that was really brilliant. Other than that, he didn't really touch the ball after that. But then he got into the game a little bit, and he had that one ridiculous touch where he somehow got the ball off and shot. He still shot it at the keeper, but he still got it. I think an 8.5 because people just underestimate how influential that he is.
And his cross kind of sets up the whole third goal. Like his cross went to Lukaku, which Lukaku hit the post from.
Yeah, and this fan base hates on, well, not all of them. So it's like a gigantic debate. I'm on the side of how important he actually is. I can see it. I can recognize it. Do I think he plays a little bit too high up sometimes? Sure. But I also think like there's no doubt that when Azpi is gone, he is the captain, and I don't want to hear anything else.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the other day really got worried, but obviously Mason wasn't here. So I guess slightly depends on who else is still here when Azpi leaves. But yeah, no, I agree. Let's put it to Jorginho. To be honest, a 7-star, I'm okay with. I said it earlier already. I didn't really notice him. Did either of you notice him? And are either of you unhappy with that rating? Would you like to change it?
Yeah, I noticed it loads, bro. He came on, he dictated play. He was the best player on the pitch. I think at 10. I think that's fair.
Oh, okay.
If I could give an 11, I probably would. I'm joking, bro. 7's fine.
I was going to give him 17 now. All right, 7. But Clutch, do you agree?
Other than him auditioning for an action movie, I did not notice him at all.
That was quite dramatic the way he fell over, to be fair.
He looked like he took a shot from in the stands.
Yeah, I thought initially the guy fully studded him in the calf, but in the end, no, he didn't. But hey, we'll take it. And Ross Barkley, I honestly believe that for that pass itself, he does deserve more. If we're going to do with a star, like we have, then he does deserve more than an A just for that ball. I know he played the ball out of play before, but that ball, think of it. When was the last time you saw a better pass than that by any Chelsea player?
Jorginho. That's one. The Jorginho to Tammy.
And that's 2 years.
Oh, actually, no, Kova. Because Kova had that brilliant pass to
Lukaku.
Yeah.
But was that better than that Barkley ball? I don't think so.
I think so.
I think they're very similar. I mean, that was a 30-yard pass, curled low, and he still hit Lukaku on the run.
30 yards, to be honest. Yeah, but it's what impressed me so much about Barkley. He wasn't looking for that ball. Like he was kind of turning, went past the player, and then kind of on the turn, kind of play almost like a chip, but with so much pace. Like that's so difficult. Like try play a pass that. It's so difficult to even make the ball move like that. That's what I was so impressed about. But hey, maybe I'm more impressed than others.
I mean, what impresses me the most is that was Ross Barkley who made that pass.
Yeah. It's a shame. If that guy had a better footballing IQ, he'd be a wonderful player.
He stayed out of the clubs and fighting in the middle of the night.
Yeah, the technique and the physicality is what he has, but the footballing IQ is what he lacks. Otherwise, there would be a much better player in there. So, boys, with the star, 8 or would you go 8.5 with the star?
I'd go with an 8 with the star.
Fair. Con?
I'd probably go 8.5.
All right, 8.5 shall be, because just democracy.
Positivity.
Exactly. Any complaints about the 9 for Tuchel? Would you like to give him a 10, or would you?
It should be a 10. It should be a 10, bro.
Okay, Clutch.
I agree with what you said earlier. I would put him as a 10, but 9 because it came a game too late.
But you have to figure the context of the game, though. This game's. I get why you guys said that, but if we're just because we could give ratings to other players, and how many of these streams we do, Laurenz, because of previous games or something like that. So I think to keep it fair, we just have to judge it by this game alone. You guys are spitting facts. You're 100% true in what you're saying, but I think it's just a bit unfair considering it's about today's game and today's day alone. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I wouldn't be if you said 10, I'd agree 100%. I mean, for him to bring out the energy that he brought out and just And then he made the subs that he made. Like, subbing Barkley on is incredibly risky. But it ended up working out.
Just out there, and then it works, like, fair play.
Yeah. I think, he was really ballsy today, like starting Cho up there, playing Chalobah, playing that pivot alone.
I'll give you it.
Yeah, see, the Tuchel prop.
Haven't remembered people. Pice also kind of felt the 10, but was just alongside myself and Clutch with the, last game out or whatever. But I also see what Pice said is like the fact that, well, while we did win, it needed a red card and 2 late goals for it to win. But that wasn't his fault. The fact that, well, VAR screwed us over. Timo didn't take his 1-on-1 chance, and Lukaku was 2 inches offside. So that's not Tuchel's fault, is it? So I suppose Con is right, as he is most of the time, which is why we have him on so much.
So this is why you give your ratings before. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but this is why you give your ratings before Laurenz talks, because he's a good talker. So when he gives his rating before mine, sometimes I'm like, oh, he's actually got a good point here. Maybe I need to give this rating. That's why I always like saying it first most of the time.
Thank you for telling me that. Now I will try to let you go first before I start waffling.
Fairs, bro.
Hey, no way Barkley should be higher than Hudson. Yeah, but that's why he's getting a star. It's not an actual higher rating. It's like with a star rating. It's different. It's not quite the same. But, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to round it out here. It's been a wonderful day in the grand scheme of things. It was an entertaining game. It was a fun game. My favorite moment of the game, aside from the goals, by the way, that back heel flick from Hudson-Odoi through Livramento's legs perfectly into the run of Chilwell. Wonderful. Chili's cross after that was a bit disappointing, but that back heel and the fact that it went through Livramento's legs is outrageous. So if I had to... what? Ratings are too high for my liking other than Ruben. Okay. But I didn't really see why. You said that's why, but I didn't see where the why is. So I do apologize. I can't see it. If you want to explain, please do. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think it was a day that went really well for everyone. Callum got a chance in the position that a lot of people have been craving for him to get a chance. He took it pretty well, to be honest. Ruben Loftus-Cheek with another great performance. Chalobah with a great performance. Chilwell with a good performance, obviously with a bad mistake, but with a good performance. We needed a red and a red and a late goal. Yeah, I mean, I do see what you're saying. I kind of don't even disagree. In all honesty, I do think there was the first half an hour of the second half wasn't that good. But let's just be positive. Let's just be positive and give some high ratings. I'd rather be positive and give 2 high ratings than be too negative here and give 2 low ratings.
We're top of the league for now, so.
Sorry?
I said we're top of the league for now.
We're top of the league for now. Exactly.
Hopefully they draw and we don't have to deal with it tomorrow because it's Liverpool and City tomorrow.
It is. So what do we...
A draw is probably the best result out of that because that only gets them a point. That would be, 2 points above? No. 2? 2 or 1 point?
1 above Liverpool and 2 above City. Because Liverpool were a point clear before us.
And then I think Brighton. Is it Brighton the other one who has a whole bunch of points that shouldn't have a whole bunch of points?
Yeah, but I have no idea who they play and when they play this weekend, so no clue. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to round it out here. I appreciate every single one of you that has tuned in today. Of course, check out both Con and Clutch on Twitter. You can obviously see Con's on screen, and the link is down in the description. And Clutch is just Clutch Dave, is it? What is it?
Clutch 1H. Just add 1H at the end.
There you go. So check these guys out. Appreciate all of you for having tuned in. If you, of course, want to become a member, there's a join button underneath if you're on desktop, or a link in the description if you're on your phone. But yeah, outside of that, we will definitely be doing streams during international break. I'm planning a kind of Chelsea tactical analysis stream with your expert who's, gonna have done quite a lot of research on what the situation is at that moment in time. But yeah, international break, as much as none of us like it, probably comes at a decent time. Hopefully Reece will be back after that. Hopefully Pulisic will be back after that. Obviously Kante should be back after that. So that should put us into a good position. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chels, upwards and onwards, and I'll see you